Hi y'all, Katie here, back with another video for the week. This week I'm doing another scrapbook layout from my stash busting DIY kit. I really enjoy some of the more DIY aspects of paper crafting, scrapbooking, planning, card making. I try to focus my videos on something either kind of DIY in nature or just getting the most out of my supplies by using them in different ways. I will add links to the products that I'm able to find online in the description below and on the blog post at plan2scrap.com. For today's page, I'm scrapbooking a couple of pictures that I took at Bastrop State Park, which is kind of the sister to Buescher State Park, and I'll link to the video of that scrapbook page in the card on your screen. In 2011, a wildfire devastated both of these parks and most of the surrounding area of Bastrop, Texas. 7 years later, the area is showing some signs of bouncing back, and I wanted to scrapbook about that. When we went to Buescher, we thought we'd be able to visit Bastrop State Park as well, but that's just not how we hike. We take our time, and it usually takes us about twice as long as it takes other people to take our hikes. I usually scrapbook in chronological order, and our visits to these parks didn't happen that way. So I kind of broke my own rules and put the pages out of order because it made more sense to me to put them together than to keep them in chronological order. I haven't gotten my paste out in a while, so I decided that I wanted to make this a mixed media page, and in order to make that work, I added some clear gesso to the background page. The pattern on the background is already pretty subtle, and I didn't want to wash it out any more than it already is with white gesso. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the name of this stencil, but it's still available, so I'll link it in the description. I store my paste in Ziploc bags to extend their lives just a little bit. Even still, you'll be able to see during the video that the Crackle paste is starting to dry out, so you still need to either use it or lose it. Through the magic of editing, the Crackle paste is dry and cracked, which is exactly what I wanted. With most pastes, you can speed up the drying time by using your heat tool, but you don't want to do that with Crackle paste because it'll interfere with the cracking process. I'm adding sprays to the areas with the paste to help define the cracks in the paste. I don't want to draw too much attention, but a little color helps them stand out. One of the challenging things about mixed media is that unless you know exactly where everything is going to go on your page, you're never really sure what's going to show and what's going to get covered up by the other elements on the page. And I kind of lucked out on this one. Most of the mixed media work does end up showing in the final product. may be the first time I've used Purple Rain Glimmer Mist from Tattered Angels, and it's kind of gorgeous. It adds a little shimmer, which is why I intended to add it last. You'll see that I end up adding another round of iris. Ironically, it's kind of a happy purple, and the song, even though it's awesome, it's not exactly a happy song, but I really am loving this color of purple. So the iris ended up getting kind of lost in all the other sprays, so I added a little bit more on top of the Purple Rain, just to give it a little bit more presence on the page. Use this stamp set to make focal images, to make embellishments, which you'll see in just a few minutes. And this may be the first time that I've used the flowers in this stamp set to make texture. Now I'm going to take a risk, and if I hadn't added clear gesso, it might not have worked. I'm going to stamp green ink over purple. The gesso will keep it from soaking into the paper, and the sprays are permanent enough that the results won't be muddy. Usually the yellow and green doesn't mix well with purple, but it ended up looking like a layer of green over a layer of purple, if that makes sense. Because I used a lot of wet media on this page and I dried it with my heat tool, it curled up quite a bit, so I'm going to add a lot more adhesive than I normally would to secure it to the frame. I did mess up a bit and got some adhesive in a spot where it's exposed on the right side of my layout, so I'm going to have to alter my plans a little bit and use this tag to cover up as much of that adhesive as I can. These flowers were made with the same stamp set that I used earlier, and they've been sitting in my stash for a couple of months. I stamped them with Archival ink and painted them with Distress ink as a watercolor, then I just fussy cut them out and stored them as embellishments for a future layout. To give this tag a more finished look, I'm going to use crochet thread that I've looped around several times. Now, I've made that tag probably 2 years ago with distress paints and stains and a shipping tag that I bought in a pack of like 50 for $7 from Office Depot. chipboard title is from Mamby, or Me and My Big Ideas, and I've had it for longer than I've had that tag, I think. I thought the whole life reference worked for this layout because it's about life bouncing back from a disaster. A good chunk of the sequins and gems in this layout come from the Dollar Tree, so next time you're in there, you should definitely look at their kids craft section and ask yourself what would work in your own crafting. I love the fancy sequins, but there's no harm in fluffing your sequin bins with a couple of Dollar Tree finds. All of these sequins are the type with holes in them, so I'm gluing them down with Tombow Aqua Glue and then adding just a dab over the hole to provide a little extra security. I'm going to finish this up with some Nuvo drops and glossy accents, and that'll be it for this layout. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to read more about this layout, follow the link to the blog post in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, be sure to subscribe.